a hyper sport scooter. That is what TVS is calling this, the new NTorq 150. Now it is a scooter after all, so is it practical? In this video we are going to speak about the design, the features, the packaging, the space, the comfort of this brand new NTorq 150 now available here in the Indian market. This is only going to be about the aesthetics, the practicality and the packaging of this product. We also have a very detailed but a first ride review of this NTorq 150 so that you can understand if this NTorq 150 is actually a hyper sport scooter. Does this genuinely have all the performance that it should in this premium scooter category? So now is a good time to subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel and press that bell icon so that every time we upload a content piece, you get a notification so that you can make an informed buying decision. So let us first start with the styling, and for that I'm going to very quickly start the scooter because I want to show you the lights. So I have now fired up this NTorq 150 and just have a look at this projector light setup. So there are 4 projectors. Either ends are going to be illuminated when you are going to use low beam. The ones on the inside, they are going to be activated for high beam. A very nice, a very premium looking light setup. But the front end design, now that can be a bit polarizing. It might not really be up to everyone's taste, but it is striking, it is distinct. There is nothing quite like this, especially to look at from the front end. So this TVS NTorq 150, it is definitely going to stand out. The next thing that I want to highlight are the lights. So just have a look at the turn indicator over here, which is integrated along with this LED DRL light signature. So this also looks quite nice and premium. It doesn't look like a sequential LED turn signal. I'm sure in future iterations TVS will do that, and they might have just saved that feature for the years to come for this NTorq 150. You also have hazard light functionality, by the way. So have a look at the lights now. So hazard lamps are active, and let's have a very close look at the rear end as well, because the tail lamp also has that signature T styling but in a very different look. So this is how the light illuminates when you apply the brakes, and as you can notice, the LED turn signals are blinking because hazard lights are on, but they are not illuminated sequentially. So these have been the light signatures. The scooter has now shut off because it has ISS, idle start stop functionality. It has worked now on this static scooter, but the one that I was riding, that feature did not activate on that particular product. Now I don't know why. These are maybe pre-production prototypes, so it could be a one-off case, but it is working on this particular unit that we have on display. And if at all I simply twist the throttle, that ISS function has now fired up the engine and the scooter is good to go. So let's kill the engine, but before that maybe you want to listen to the exhaust note. So listen to this. It's a 150cc class scooter, air-cooled engine, not liquid-cooled, but a decent sounding scooter. Typical of TVS products, the scooter has a distinct sound. Now let's start speaking about the design overall. So like I said, the front end might not be up to everyone's taste, but it is what it is. There are multiple color tones which you will notice over here on the front. So you have a lot of gloss black over here on the front apron. Then you have your body color. You have the prancing horse for TVS over here. Then you have the Indian tricolor over here. And then you have the NTorq branding over here on the front apron, but no 150cc class branding over here. Then lower down what is cool are these small winglets. Now the good thing is that these winglets are very sturdy. They are not delicate pieces which are just stuck externally. They are very well mounted with the hard parts, and they also have some decals over here. A very nice integration, and this you don't have to worry about falling off or just breaking if at all you have parked in a really tight spot and someone is not careful with your scooter. So a nice integration. It does look sporty, and TVS says that because most of the scooters have the weight bias towards the rear end, this could possibly help. But on a scooter at such speeds, is this really going to generate any kind of downforce? I don't know. But if you are a genius in aerodynamics, maybe you can throw some lights in the comments. Now have a look at the front wheel. Alloy wheels, and a very nice bright alloy wheel. Remora tires, and this is a 12-inch wheel, not 14 inches. I really wish TVS offered 14-inch wheels with the NTorq 150. It could have just given the scooter better capability on the broken Indian roads, but it is what it is. The tires have done a very good job in terms of offering us grip, so do check out the ride review video. But in terms of looks, they don't look really small. When you are walking up close to the scooter, when it was covered today morning, we had not seen the scooter. At that time the wheels looked big enough, but knowing that they are 12 inches, it is just wishful thinking that if it were 14 inches at both ends, it would have been better to ride around town. Then on the left hand side, you will notice that of course you have a pedal disc brake, very sporty looking, and then you have Super Moto ABS. Now that is because it doesn't have a disc brake at the rear end, this NTorq 150. So ABS is available only on the front wheel, and you also have traction control, by the way, as an added safety feature on this scooter. So you don't have to worry too much. Basis the capability that this scooter has, the performance that it offers, single channel ABS coupled with traction control and the overall body dynamics, this is really good enough. I am not expecting a lot more, but if at all it had a rear disc, if it had dual channel ABS, I mean, why not? The more the merrier, especially in the safety department. Then have a look at this front end again. Over here you have a lot of this blank section. I wish this was done a little differently, but still on the lower fender, on the front fender, you will notice you have these color shades, so it is breaking the monotony. And this is plastic over here, nothing is metal, this is all plastic fiber body, but it is really well put together. Now have a look at the side profile of this NTorq 150. So over here you have the 150 branding, a really large sized panel, and it has a slightly maxi scooter kind of a design language, but it has a flat floor, so it is not really a maxi scooter. But the overall body paneling, it does try to offer it some bulk in the aesthetics department so that it looks like a big scooter. Now does it look big enough to you? That is for you to decide, and let us know in the comments below. Then have a look at that floorboard section, nice and flat, NTorq branding and some textures over here for grip when you are riding this, so your feet stay in place. Then have a look at this particular section. Let me show you the practical bits. So you have a hook over here for your bags which will retract. It could have been a bit more premium than what it is. You have the T styling over here, which is signature of the NTorq. You have some textured panels over here as well, and this panel is also looking quite nice. It has some crease lines, so it doesn't look boring plain Jane vanilla. This is the key of the NTorq 150. TVS written on one side, the prancing horse on the other side. And have a look at this. This is the keyhole, and standard operation, nothing fancy over here. You also have the TVS branding over here. You have a storage bin area over here. Let me park my phone. This is an iPhone 15 Pro Max, goes in. A Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, this one goes in too, so you can have two phones parked over here absolutely no problem. But there is no lid, there is no cover, so things can fall off, they can pop out. Or maybe you can park your gloves over here if at all you want to remove them after a while of riding. The next thing that I want to highlight is this handlebar setup. A naked handlebar with this nice looking speedometer cluster over here, a TFT display. Everything looks top quality in terms of controls, and touch and finish is really good. On the left hand side, the switch cubes have all the controls. This is to control your TFT display, horn button in a contrast color, turn indicator, hazard lamp button, and this is your switch for pass lights over here. On the right hand side, you only have the integrated kill switch with a starter button, but everything to touch very good. Even these grips, very nice to touch. Then just have a look at these levers. You have adjustable levers, 3 adjustment settings available for the front brake and also for the rear brake. Now this thing that you see over here, this is your park brake. This is how you lock it in place. So check this out, very easy to do this. So if you are on an incline or a decline, descend, you can simply use this to keep your scooter in place. Now this TFT display has this very small little fly screen with Smart X Connect branding because it has connected features, and you have this plastic panel over here to hide the wiring behind. Just have a look at how neatly everything is done. No wire or cable is seen from the front end of the scooter. So when you are approaching the NTorq 150, you will see no cables dangling below over here, below this TFT display. Very well done. A very fine attention to detail, and that really tells you how much thought the brand has put in the design and aesthetics department. So a big thumbs up from us to TVS for this kind of packaging. Now you have seen the front apron, you have seen the storage, you have seen the keyhole. Let us open up this seat. So let's check it out. The seat is open. This is the kind of space that is available over here. Just wait for a minute, I'm gonna get my helmet. It is a full-faced helmet, and let us check out if it fits. So this is my full-faced riding helmet, but it is not going in right now because it has a comms unit attached to it. So let us get the comms unit off, and let's see if the helmet fits inside in this storage bin area. I'm going to very gently keep this inside. Yes, it does, but if I want to close the seat, it is not going to close because the seat is now resting on the helmet. So maybe a cheaper full-faced helmet, this for reference is a showy. This can't fit, maybe something else can, but let's speak about the other stuff over here. Now below the seat you have these strings. These are mostly going to be to hold on to your toolkit, which is not on this particular display unit. Do not charge when the engine is off. So you have a USB charging point over here, so you can charge your accessories or your smartphone. This is your OBD point over here as well, so very easy when you want to diagnose any errors which might be shown, if at all they are shown. Very well put together, nothing is moving, and everything feels solidly built, typical of TVS. These are your vehicle details, your manufacturing details. This is your chassis number printed over here under the seat of this NTorq 150, and as you can notice, the fuel filler cap is at the tail end, and this is accessible even with the seat closed. So a very good feature, so you don't have to get off the scooter if at all you are in a hurry, but ideally you should get off when you are refueling your vehicle, but then you don't have to open the seat. This is going to be very quick to access. Let us check out how that works. So to do that, this is how you open it up, and it has a good spring mechanism. Now it is locked. I will do that one more time. Very easy and works every single time. So this external fuel filler cap this is going to add to the overall convenience in your ownership cycle. Then have a look at this seat. Again, this also has plenty of textures. Firstly, you will notice you have this contrast stitching. Then you have this T style over here for the NTorq. So check this out, nicely done. And then you have some texture over here as well. So this is going to offer you some amount of grip when you are riding the scooter, so you don't slide around too much. But by default as well, the scooter does have a textured pattern, so it is going to give you some amount of grip. A very good seat. It has been very comfortable in my first ride experience today at Hosur at the plant, and it has kept me happy. Now this TVS NTorq 150, this is a premium scooter. As they say, it is a hyper sport scooter. Now it is going to be compared primarily to the Yamaha Aerox, but the Aerox is an uncomfortable scooter. There is no better way of saying that. Now it doesn't fit the bill as a family scooter primarily because of poor comfort. That is where TVS has an opportunity with this NTorq 150, because the seat is comfortable, it is nice and soft. From a scooter, you do expect that instant comfort. That is why you bought a scooter, because you want comfort and convenience. Then you have a flat floor where you can slide around your feet, or you can carry some extra luggage if at all you need to. And then the suspension as well is more comfort oriented. The scooter is dynamically rich, but it is slightly on the softer side, so it does offer you more comfort if you compare it to the likes of the Yamaha Aerox. And that is where TVS has the edge to appeal to a wider audience who doesn't really want too much of sport in a sporty scooter. Then have a look at this side panel. What I really like is this 3D branding, this NTorq badging over here. Very nice with this neon color, looks quite good. Even this color is quite nice, striking, and with plenty of contrasts here and there. You have the color shown to you over here as well. You have a textured finish over here on this plastic panel too. And even this section, just have a look at this, where the seat is closing. This also has this plastic piece. Everything looks quite nice. Aesthetically, the scooter is very pleasing to look at. And then you will notice this retractable, pillion foot peg. It has this design detailing, but this is a rubber top. This is not a metal piece. So even this rubber top has good attention to detail, isn't it? And even over here, you will see some amount of texture. So TVS has done a very fine job in terms of design detailing with this NTorq 150. Now, another thing which you should notice is this particular sticker over here, OBD 2B compliant. So it is meeting all the latest requirements in terms of government clearances. Then have a look at this exhaust. Looks quite nice, isn't it? And it also sounds quite good for a scooter of this category. You have some gloss finish over here at the lower end, but the upper end is more matte in texture. It does look good, and it does fill up this area quite nicely. There are not too many empty spaces on that side, so because of that, it is a good looking scooter. Then to add some contrast, have a look at this, a shade of red. So quite nice, isn't it? Then have a look at the rear fender. We have reflectors over here for lateral visibility. A very nice rear fender, so it is going to prevent mud splash, especially during monsoon season. A gloss black panel over here. Here is the bulb for illumination for your license plate. These indicators are also well put together. They are not moving at all, so they are not going to break or bend very easily. We have this fake aero styling over here, which is a signature of the NTorq scooter range and looks quite nice. These tail lamps, they pop out of the panel to add some nice 3D effect, so it looks quite nice. And this section, this is not in gloss, so I really like it, because if at all someone is seated behind and is wearing a backpack, if this was gloss, it could have gotten scratched very easily. This could be maybe easier to maintain in your ownership cycle. You have a split pillion grab rail setup over here, looks quite nice. And if at all you want to go touring with this NTorq 150, you have some cuts over here, so maybe you can secure your bags and backpacks over here on the pillion seat, so it can be quite practical in that respect. Then have a look at the seat again. You have the NTorq branding over here. You have this tag over here which says NTorq, quite nice. On the left hand side you will notice the engine. You have the TVS branding over here. This could have been a little better finished. It looks a little rough around the edges. The pillion footrest I have already shown you. You of course have a proper main stand, and then you have this side stand. Have a look at this panel now. Carbon fiber like texture over here. TVS Racing very proudly slapped over here, because TVS takes racing very seriously, and TVS takes all their learnings from racing very seriously, and they do infuse all of those learnings into their road going products. Now there are a few Easter eggs in terms of design detailing. Over here you have a jet, so just have a look at this. But on the other side you will notice something completely different. Over here you have a dinosaur and it says eh. Now let's speak about the most important bit about this TVS NTorq 150, and that is rider ergonomics. My height is 5 feet 8 inches and I weigh 80 kg. Now to get this scooter off the main stand, it is very easy. It is a light scooter. When I have to hop on, because it has a flat floor, I don't have to swing my leg, I can simply slide my leg. That is the convenience of owning a scooter. Now check this out. I wear a shoe size 9, I'm wearing proper race boots. There is enough room for me to move my feet around over here. So this is genuinely practical and very reasonable. This naked handlebar, it is slightly on the higher side in terms of positioning. So when I'm making lock-to-lock U-turns, check this out. Nothing is touching my knee, nothing is hurting my knees. For my height and my body type, this is really good. So I don't necessarily have to get my foot off. Check this out. When I'm getting my foot back on, I'm not hurting my leg at all. This is what a practical scooter should be like, and it is quite nice over here on this NTorq 150. Now the seat, it is roomy enough, so there is plenty of space for the rider himself or herself. So there is good room even for the shorter riders to slide forward if at all they want better reach to the ground, or the taller adults, they can move back, and if they have longer inseam, they will have no problems even with this wider section of the seat. But the seat overall is really good. It is nice, it is soft, and it is comfortable. Now for long touring, maybe the seat could have been slightly firmer, maybe medium firm, because then it could have offered you better support, better padding for long distance, touring abilities. This is more towards the softer side, which will definitely keep you happy on your short sprints with a scooter inside city limits. So I'm not really going to complain about that. Nobody is riding 300 kilometers on a scooter, or are you? Now for me to move this scooter around, like I said, it is a lightweight product, so it is absolutely no problem. I have very easy reach to the ground, and if at all I have to swing a leg and get off, no problem at all. So a very practical scooter, a very conventional scooter, but a rather sporty looking scooter, isn't it? To put it back up on the main stand, no problem at all. It is very light. So now is the time to know the specifications of this TVS NTorq 150. So the curb weight of this NTorq 150 is 115 kg. The length is 1861 millimeters. Breadth, the width is 740 millimeters, and height is 1120 millimeters. The wheelbase is 1285 millimeters. Ground clearance is 155 millimeters, and the seat length is 765 millimeters, and the seat height is 770 millimeters. The under seat storage capacity is a good practical number, 22 liters. Now there are going to be two variants which are going to be available for this NTorq 150. One with the LCD display, which is going to be the lower priced variant, and then this with the TFT display with a lot of connected tech. Also, just have a look at this sticker over here, iGo Assist, which is basically a boost function which you get specifically in race mode. So when you are under hard acceleration, especially from 0 to 60, you will notice that on the speedometer cluster that you are getting that extra bit of boost, that extra bit of performance. Do you feel it? I couldn't really tell. Is it only a gimmick? Maybe not, because if TVS is flashing that so proudly on the screen, it should be serving a purpose. Now let us have a look at this very good looking TFT display of this NTorq 150. I'm going to keep the scooter fired up so that we don't, discharge the battery fully. This is street mode with blue accents for the tachometer. This is race mode with red accents for the tachometer. Just have a very quick look over here. Telltale signs are on this black bezel area. The screen is not really all that big, but because of this console, it feels like you have a big speedometer. Now ideally they could have used more real estate so that they could have spaced things out better, but anyway, everything is very easy to consume even on the go. So you can check out our ride review video as well for what this speedometer cluster looks like on the go. So right now you can notice you have a clock over here. Your Bluetooth is flashing over here because it comes with smartphone connectivity. iGo is now charged, the iGo assist, which is basically boost mode. So you can see that in purple over here. This will be depleted if at all you are completely done with the boost functionality. Then you will have to wait a few seconds till the scooter is fully charged enough to offer you that boost. Race is written over here because you have selected race mode. 3-digit capability, which tells us that this is capable of achieving triple-digit speeds. And then lower down, the trip console, you will notice you have your top speed written over here, you have your trip distance, you have lap distance, you have lap timer, you have your fuel gauge digitally shown, and your temperature gauge as well. Now this is street mode. In street mode, as you can notice, you have your riding distance and riding time, but the lap timer is now gone. If you go to race mode, you can notice lap distance and lap timer. So this is also a very fine detail to make note of when you are switching between these modes. Now this display is at auto setting, so you can change that. So you can go to display setup, you can go to display theme. Check this out, this was at auto. You can get it to full dark at all times as well, and I would usually set this as my preferred setting. Looks quite nice and looks more crisper because of better contrast, isn't it? But you can let us know your thoughts in the comments. Speaking about mode changing, a single touch of this up button, you can change the modes. So have a look at the speedometer. You can very easily change the modes, and you can do this on the go. You don't have to come to a standstill. And all of these controls over here on the switch cubes, like I said, they are very easy to operate even when you are wearing gloves. Now this speedometer cluster has a lot to show you. So this is your ride mode, street and race. When you are in the menu, you still have your main display. So when you are accessing this when on the go, you still have your speed shown to you, your selected mode, and iGo, if it is charged enough, that is also displayed to you over here. If you switch to street mode, check this out. This is how it is going to look like. The primary information which you should be able to see when riding the scooter. So very nicely done. Trip details. So check this out. In trip A, you have all of this. In trip B, you have all of this. If you want to reset, it is very easy to do that as well. Then you have vehicle control to activate traction control or deactivate traction control. That is up to you. But because this is race mode, you have one feature which is missing from that screen. So I'm going to select street mode, and now in street mode, you will notice when you go to vehicle control, you have ISS, idle start stop functionality. You can turn it off or on, and then you can also set a timer. 4 seconds is the least, or you can set it to maximum of 10 seconds before the engine is turned off, especially if you are at a signal. This will save you some money by saving you some amount of fuel. Then connectivity has your paired device options, privacy settings, do not disturb and incognito mode. This is your vehicle settings, so your service information, your performance record is shown to you over here, software version, then display setup where you can select widgets, and what you want in those widgets. So you have a total of 4 widget options. Display brightness, you can set it at auto adjustment, and otherwise you can simply set the brightness setting to your desired preference. Display theme, you have auto light and dark. High speed alert, you can set it at whatever speed you like. It can go up to 130, but the scooter is not going to go up to 130. Clock settings, and this was in display setup. So this is all the control that you get on this TVS NTorq 150 on this very good looking TFT display. Now let us have a look at this very good looking TFT display of this NTorq 150. I'm going to keep the scooter fired up so that we don't, discharge the battery fully. This is street mode with blue accents for the tachometer. This is race mode with red accents for the tachometer. Just have a very quick look over here. Telltale signs are on this black bezel area. The screen is not really all that big, but because of this console, it feels like you have a big speedometer. Now ideally they could have used more real estate so that they could have spaced things out better, but anyway, everything is very easy to consume even on the go. So you can check out our ride review video as well for what this speedometer cluster looks like on the go. So right now you can notice you have a clock over here. Your Bluetooth, is flashing over here because it comes with smartphone connectivity. iGo is now charged. The iGo assist, which is basically boost mode. So you can see that in purple over here. This will be depleted if at all you are completely done with the boost functionality. Then you will have to wait a few seconds till the scooter is fully charged enough to offer you that boost. Race is written over here because you have selected race mode. 3-digit capability, which tells us that this is capable of achieving triple-digit speeds. And then lower down, the trip console, you will notice you have your top speed written over here, you have your trip distance, you have lap distance, you have lap timer, you have your fuel gauge digitally shown, and your temperature gauge as well. Now this is street mode. In street mode, as you can notice, you have your riding distance and riding time, but the lap timer is now gone. If you go to race mode, you can notice lap distance and lap timer. So this is also a very fine detail to make note of when you are switching between these modes. Now this display is at auto setting, so you can change that. So you can go to display setup, you can go to display theme. Check this out, this was at auto. You can get it to full dark at all times as well, and I would usually set this as my preferred setting. Looks quite nice and looks more crisper because of better contrast, isn't it? But you can let us know your thoughts in the comments. Speaking about mode changing, a single touch of this up button, you can change the modes. So have a look at the speedometer. You can very easily change the modes, and you can do this on the go. You don't have to come to a standstill. And all of these controls over here on the switch cubes, like I said, they are very easy to operate even when you are wearing gloves. Now this speedometer cluster has a lot to show you. So this is your ride mode, street and race. When you are in the menu, you still have your main display. So when you are accessing this when on the go, you still have your speed shown to you, your selected mode, and iGo, if it is charged enough, that is also displayed to you over here. If you switch to street mode, check this out. This is how it is going to look like. The primary information which you should be able to see when riding the scooter. So very nicely done. Trip details. So check this out. In trip A, you have all of this. In trip B, you have all of this. If you want to reset, it is very easy to do that as well. Then you have vehicle control to activate traction control or deactivate traction control. That is up to you. But because this is race mode, you have one feature which is missing from that screen. So I'm going to select street mode, and now in street mode, you will notice when you go to vehicle control, you have ISS, idle start stop functionality. You can turn it off or on, and then you can also set a timer. 4 seconds is the least, or you can set it to maximum of 10 seconds before the engine is turned off, especially if you are at a signal. This will save you some money by saving you some amount of fuel. Then connectivity has your paired device options. Privacy settings, do not disturb and incognito mode. This is your vehicle settings, so your service information, your performance record is shown to you over here. Software version, then display setup, where you can select widgets and what you want in those widgets. So you have a total of 4 widget options. Display brightness, you can set it at auto adjustment, and otherwise you can simply set the brightness setting to your desired preference. Display theme, you have auto light and dark. High speed alert, you can set it at whatever speed you like. It can go up to 130, but the scooter is not going to go up to 130. Clock settings, and this was in display setup. So this is all the control that you get on this TVS NTorq 150 on this very good looking TFT display.